Breaking overnight, Russia launches a large-scale aerial assault on Ukraine's capital. Hundreds of drones from all directions attacking Kyiv. You see in the video just some of those explosions. Ukraine's president said more than 400 drones and at least 18 missiles struck. At least 2 people were killed in these strikes. And this is just the day before, Russia launched hundreds more, the largest drone attack since Russia started that war. This comes as President Trump is suggesting now that he has reached his limit with Russian President Putin.
We get a lot of bull thrown at us by Putin, for you want to know the truth. He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
And joining us right now is the former Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me on, Kate.
I really appreciate it.
Can I also say, I just am grateful for CNN's consistent coverage of the tragedy in Texas. Our hearts and our prayers have been with all of our countrymen there, and appreciate the yeoman works you all have done to tell that story.
Thank you. It's a very tough job that we have our team down there to do, and an important one, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
On Ukraine, I know this is something that you have cared so deeply about. Mm-hmm. At one point, President Trump accused Ukraine of starting the war. We don't even need to quote the Time magazine article again. And now he's calling Putin BS. You have seen up close President Trump's sympathies towards Putin over the years. Do you believe that he has fundamentally shifted his view on the Russian president, or could Trump be one happy phone call away from blaming Zelensky again?
Well, my hope is that the president's starting to recognize that Vladimir Putin doesn't want peace. Vladimir Putin wants Ukraine. And again and again, President Zelensky, who I came to know during my time as vice president, has made it clear he's prepared for a ceasefire. He's prepared to negotiate a lasting peace in the region. While we saw again just last night, a barrage of merciless attacks on civilian populations, and I welcome the president's decision to reverse a decision somewhere out of the Pentagon that suspended aid to Ukraine. You look back at our administration, mm-hmm. Kate, and we were the first administration to provide lethal aid to Ukraine. Remember, Barack Obama only provided, military meals and blankets. We came in and gave him the kind of Stinger missiles and resources that I think prevented Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine during our 4 years in office. And then it literally in the aftermath of the Biden administration's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, I think Putin was emboldened. He rolled across the border. He's made no secret of his ambitions. And while I had concerns and expressed them mm-hmm.
In
those first 100 days about the president's kind of ongoing hope and desire for a negotiated settlement, I welcome his decisions this week and his rhetoric. And I think what may have changed is that some of the isolationist voices in and around this administration that recently condemned the president's correct and courageous decision to launch a military assault against Iran. I think they may have lost some of their footing with the president. I mean, by leveling criticism in our effort to ensure that Iran could never obtain a usable nuclear weapon, I think some of those isolationist voices may have literally lost some credibility with the president. But whatever the cause, I welcome it, because I do believe the time has come for us to renew our military support for Ukraine, make it clear that we're going to continue to provide that support along with our European allies until a just and lasting peace is achieved. I also am hopeful that Senator Thune will bring the new Russia sanction bill to the floor of the Senate next week.
There are issues with 2 of those things, but with both of those things, there are issues right now. And I saw you almost shake your head in disbelief at what the reporting has been, which is today we learned that U.S. weapons shipments are starting back up to Ukraine.
Right.
But this comes after the reporting is that the Pentagon paused shipments on some weapons, signed off on by the Secretary of Defense, without the knowledge, without informing the President of the United States. The idea that a decision that big was made without getting the approval of or even informing the President of the United States. Does that make any sense to you?
Well, look, when you've served at the level I've served at, it's a big government, and a lot of people in your agencies and in departments are making decisions all the time, but that one was troubling to me. And my bet is it's very troubling to the President. My expectation is that he'll get to the bottom of it. He will find out who initiated that decision. But the most important thing is that he reversed it and made it clear in a phone call with President Zelensky last Friday that the support's going to continue to come. Now, I will say, and I say respectfully to the President, if he's looking on, this isn't just about defensive weapons.
Right.
We've got to continue to provide President Zelensky and the Ukrainian military with the offensive capability as well as the kind of support against aerial assaults that'll allow them to achieve a real peace.
Sorry, Mr. President. This isn't the first problem at the Pentagon that has come out under the leadership of Pete Hegseth. Tom Tillis is suggesting he's questioning his support for his confirmation. Do you think Pete Hegseth is up for this job?
Yeah, I saw Senator Tillis's criticism, and I don't think it's fair. Okay. Look, I've known Pete Hegseth a long time. He's someone who's worn the uniform. As you know, I've got a couple in our immediate family that are currently serving in the armed forces of this country. And I got to tell you, I'm very encouraged overall with the President's leadership and his team at the Pentagon. I think General Kane had demonstrated his extraordinary capabilities with the success of that mission over Iran. Our airmen did an incredible job after the President made that courageous decision to launch U.S. forces. I think the launching efforts earlier this year that caused the Houthis to stand down on what had been years of attacks against U.S. military vessels in the region. And probably the most hopeful thing, I would say, and I credit first the President, but also the Secretary of Defense and his entire team, is recruitment is up. I mean, we had fallen behind in every branch in the service in meeting recruitment goals at the end of the Biden administration. And now I'm told that we're exceeding goals in every branch of our armed forces. And so all of that is welcome news, positive.
You also mentioned sanctions. Thune's talking about bringing it forward, but has said he's not going to bring forward this big sanctions bill pushed by Graham and Blumenthal and has 80 co-sponsors. I mean, nothing has 80 co-sponsors in this kind of bipartisanship anymore in Washington. But he won't do it unless Trump signs off. And Trump is not a yes yet. Is there any good reason in your mind to not be moving forward with this sanctions bill right away?
Well, my hope is the President make it clear that he wants that bill on his desk.
He keeps saying, yes, maybe, no, I don't need it yet. He suggested to advisors he thinks it won't deter Putin.
Kate, I spoke Trump fluently for 4 years.
So decipher, please.
So when I saw him the other day say that he's strongly looking at it, I know what that means. And I saw Senator Graham actually put out on social media that he talked to the President. And the President wanted them to move the bill.
So you think it means?
Well, my hope is that the President will understand the value of the Senate acting, and they can put that on his desk, and it has broad waiver authority in it. But I literally think that the very presence of those new sanctions, especially the secondary sanctions that are included, that are essentially going to go against countries that are subsidizing that war effort.
Why pump the brakes?
Well, I think and hope the President will see the value of Vladimir Putin seeing those sanctions on his desk, available for a signature. But the most important thing is that we continue to make it very clear that we're not going to tolerate Vladimir Putin redrawing international lines by force. He didn't do it in our 4 years. He had done it. It's important to remember Russian forces had crossed a border in Europe broadly under the Bush administration, under the Obama administration in Crimea, and of course under the Biden administration, but under our administration. We built up our military. We unleashed our armed forces to take down the ISIS caliphate. We even took down the leader of the Iran Revolutionary
Yes.
Guard, Qasem Soleimani. We sent cruise missiles into Syria not once but twice. I think Vladimir Putin saw us supporting Ukraine with lethal aid. I think he saw us willing to use force to defend our interests and our allies, and he stood down. And the pathway today to peace in the region, in Eastern Europe, in the Middle East, in the Asia Pacific, is American strength.